I'm always learning something new, right? Like people in Laos, they're always, sharing different things as well. And so I think actually it wasn't necessarily difficult, but it was this dish. Actually, the video I posted 2 days ago, it was Kanom Mo Tot, which is like, it looks like a donut hole, but it is made of sticky rice and has a banana inside. And so like that's the donut hole of Laos. But it was so hard to recreate. Like that was a recipe. It looked so simple, but that was a recipe that just took me nights and nights going back and forth until I found something that I loved. And then it's probably not similar to the techniques they use in Laos to get to it, but it felt so right in the way I made it in this book. The accessibility of like using powdered sugar instead of like maybe stir frying it with caramelized sugar. But I would say examples like that, the simplicity also made it so hard to figure out how the Lao people did it back over there, but finding ways to manage, like working with the oven here and cooking. So.
Liddy.
Hey, Saeng.
Hello.
Quick question, because I'm super curious about all these other recipes that you had to edit out. Can you name one recipe that you really, really wish, or something that you really enjoy that wasn't included in the book?
I would say the one that I'm thinking right now is it's a bamboo stuffed sticky rice, and so it's you like, so the accessibility is really hard because finding like bamboo stalks to use as a thing to stuff is really hard. But in Laos, it's so easy to find, and it's one of my favorite dishes. Like it's not too sweet, and you eat it after dinner, and the bamboo actually sticks around the sticky rice when it's done, and it's grilled over a fire, and you get that char. So those are the types of recipes that I couldn't necessarily fit into this book because of the certain ingredients accessibility of making it. But I think there is space for finding different ways to make it in the future stuff. Future cookbook, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's work on one. Thank you, though.
Oh, we have a shot.
Hi. Hi, my name's Celine. I live in the West Side, which is what appears to be a Lao food desert. So I'm curious for those of us who want to try the recipes, where do you recommend sourcing ingredients here in LA?
In LA? I'm in Temple City now, but I used to live in LA. The grocery stores here are so amazing. Like, if you're looking for small amounts of ingredients for Southeast Asian dishes, go to Siloam Market. That's one of my favorites. They have an amazing freezer section of all like uncommon ingredients that you can't find anywhere else. But if you're making bulk...
That's in Thai Town, by the way.
Oh, Thai Town, yes, Thai Town. If you're making bulk items, go to Laxi. It's like the Costco of Southeast Asia. It's so fun.
That's sort of by Chinatown.
Yes. And Culver City. Culver City has like Indonesian grocery store. When I was living there, I forgot what it's called, but there are pockets, which is really cool to be living in LA, to have pockets of different grocery stores.
LBC.
What? Long Beach, yeah. Long Beach is huge too. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Saeng.
Hello.
First off, I'm really grateful to be here, so thank you. We've been learning a lot about your journey as a chef and journey in writing the book. I wanted to hear more about your journey as a content creator, as I'm on my own content creation journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey like 5 times, but yeah.
Yeah, no, if you'd asked me that I would be, what would I be? Content creator doesn't come to mind immediately. I'm very
Is it
grateful.
influencer?
I'm a content creator, but I think that all started around the same time. Like for me, it was just a passion of sharing Lao food on the internet and wanting people to talk Lao food about. Like my friend Ava here is cooking out loud. Like I think she's an incredible Lao cook. Like our story is like I met Ava because I was doing Dum and Dum, which was like a Lao papaya salad pop up across the streets of LA, and she was brave enough to come out after seeing a post on it, and we just connected ever since then. So I think my intention of starting social media was always to connect with other like-minded folk, and eventually it just grew into this world of Lao food and community. And I think that having the pandemic actually blew up a lot of creators, including myself, because that's when we were all at home and didn't have anything to do. And so for me, I couldn't go, I was a personal chef at the time, so I couldn't go to my clients' houses anymore. So all I could do was cook for people on the internet. But advice in terms of being a content creator is just do what feels right. People can feel your authenticity, and so don't fake it. Be cringe, be nasty, not too nasty, but...
Sorry, when were you nasty?
I don't know, you look bad. The poster's still there.
Oh, the waffle thing? He doesn't want me to have the mic anymore.
Take the mic.
Bobby, Chef Bobby.
Hi, I'm Bobby. I want to get a little spicy. Is there a dish or recipe that you don't care about? Oh, I do.
That I don't care about. Why would I not care about it? Maybe my least favorite.
That your mom made.
Ooh, how about lob squirrel?
Yeah, that's a pass for
It's not
me
in
too.
the book. It's not in the book. But I'm saying, like, for in the Midwest, they're always finding stuff, and squirrel was a common lob. People made lob, alcohol as well.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get into it, so I do with chicken. So I could tell her. She knows. No squirrel lob for me.
My parents had a Thai restaurant, and we had an aquarium. And then I remember a goldfish flipped over, and then I also remember it ended up in the deep fryer. No, Mom put it there. Anyways, that's a fun story. Any other questions? Okay, we got more. That inspired people, I think.
Oh no.
Hi, Saeng.
Hi.
So one of the reasons I wanted to come here today was I think there's a lot of beauty in the friction of having to really write everything down that didn't exist, that wasn't in writing, and compiling it all together. And perhaps there are a lot of flavors that people here wouldn't be used to, maybe even in Wisconsin. But do you ever find that how can you cook and create for perhaps people who are unfamiliar with these flavors to adjust for their taste, but without feeling like you're compromising the authenticity of the recipe?
I come from a place when I'm developing these recipes that I want to try my best to create what my mom would share with me. And that is, quote unquote, what is traditional for me, what I value. But I don't say that, someone else's taste buds is wrong. And so just because someone can't maybe take as many peppers, right, or as much as, okay, sorry. many peppers, or as much as the funk, right, is not that it's bad, it's just who that person is. And so I welcome adjustments. I welcome, especially as when I was a personal chef, I would tell them, I specialize in Lao cuisine. I'm more than happy to make this for you, and I can curate it based on your taste buds, let me know. So I think it's this beautiful conversation that you have with people, and when it comes to cooking food, that's why I do what I do. It's this conversation of meeting them in the middle. Maybe they can't meet you where you're at the moment, but you can meet them in the middle. And I think that's essentially what we need in just being able to communicate with one another. So my way of communicating with people is through food. And so I always welcome to, I always challenge, try a little bit. If you don't like it, good, fine. But maybe try it again in a couple of years and come back.
Yes. Thank you for making the book. I was actually Lao Chumpa TV. My dad made that 20 years ago. And I'm here today bringing it back after he passed away about 9 years ago. So I'm here to represent and help support the Lao community, and I'm going to continue with that. But with that said, I want to know what what does being proudly Lao mean to you? And then it's a two-part question. And what do you hope people feel about Lao culture after experiencing your book?
Thank you for those questions. I think I think back to my parents' stories and why it's so important for me to share. But also I think about the value that my parents have. Like, they don't have, the education that my neighbors have, that my friends' parents have. But what they do have is so much knowledge that no one else has about the herbs, the nature, how to ferment. And I think that is such a beautiful thing to find the beauty in your parents that maybe you didn't see when you were a kid. And so I am proudly Lao now because I know they worked their butt off to give their kids such an amazing life. And I think that speaks to like the immigrant experience as well of who are your parents when you look at them through the eyes of when they were younger and how they tried to survive and just give you the best life. Sorry, I forgot the second question.
What do you hope people would experience about the Lao culture after experiencing your book?
This book is not just made for the Lao community, but it is made for people that are your neighbors, that are your friends, that are just so curious about this group of people that are in the United States. So I hope that the book gives them a better understanding of who these people are, because in these chaotic times, I think a lot of times you hear refugee, you hear immigrants, not always as positive anymore. And so I want to remind people that these stories are recent. There's nothing new. It's something that we've always been battling. And so the only way we can battle is to share who we are as a person, that we're not here to harm anyone, but we're here to share the table. We're here to share food. And I think that's what I hope the people get from the book.
Can you talk about how important community is to the Lao culture?
Community is incredibly important. I think the book wouldn't have been created without Lao community. I think about going back to Laos and meeting my aunt for the first time, and the villages that they live in. Everyone has their own roles and their own responsibilities, and slaughtering the cows and chickens, and then someone's there to make the dinner, and then the monks have their own roles of making sure everyone's educated and spiritually in tune of coming together as a community. And I think that transcends not just the villages in Laos, but the beauty that the Lao now in Los Angeles, for example, have created, thanks to Kula, mother of Los Angeles. And I think that it's so beautiful to see that we are able to kind of bring that nature of community, but in our own way. Because coming to LA, for me, it's almost been 10 years. It's a beast coming into LA, but being able to have people that know who you are and not having to explain yourself is such a relief. And I think that's what my parents have instilled in me, to wherever you go, to find community, to find people that will understand you and care for you.
Any final questions before we wrap up the evening?
Hey, Saeng, congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
When we're talking about community, it's been 51 years since 1975. What do you see as a future of both the Lao community, but also the Lao food movement as you see it?
Yeah, it's been 50 plus years, right, since the Lao diaspora has left Laos. Essentially what I'm seeing is that the culture within Laos, they are becoming more open, vibrant with their music, their culture, and they're able to share that with the world. So I think with that also comes the food. And I think it's also a collective partnership in terms of having the Lao diaspora, because it's not just me that's creating cookbook, creating stories, creating movies, but it is this the work of creating art within the community that transcends more than just one space, but we're able to connect and maybe not understand, but we know what they're talking about. And I think that's the beauty of the diaspora around the world, that they're creating this artwork that's gonna be intertwined with the Lao food movement and finding ways to bridge the different gaps. And I think there's a lot of healing that is happening also at the same time of, like I talk to my friends in Laos, like, oh my God, like we value Lao food. Like I think that's a huge perception as well. Like the confidence within in Laos, the poverty it's hard over there, and so you don't really get to see what is outside of the world. But to be able to share Lao food now and bring it back to Laos, I think it's going to be monumental in showing that you can do it. Whatever cards you're given in life, it is possible to pursue your dreams and come together as a community like the Lao food movement and move forward, because